All right, and it looks like we're live. So I'm doing something different here. For those of you who are just turning in, I'm doing a live rant. It's not going to be as much of a Q&A. So if you're in the live or you're watching the replay and I'm not responding to comments, this is literally just a faster way for me to get out a quality video. So I'm doing this using youtube.com/webcam. So it's also an interesting test of that functionality. But basically right now I want to go on a rant because I'm seeing a lot of complaining about social media, about every single platform, whether it's YouTube or whether it's Instagram or whether it's Facebook. Everybody is complaining about algorithms and ads and all of these things and privacy. And while there is some legitimacy to underlying issues in every single platform, which most people aren't even getting into with regard to quality control and glitches and things of that nature, the thing that I want to drive home, mostly for people complaining, not people who have legitimate grievances because something ridiculous is happening. For the people who are just complaining about the way things are or would just like things to be different or to suit them, I want to remind all of you that these platforms are free. And that if you could be on television every single day at no cost, if you could be on radio every single day at no cost, you would figure it out. You'd figure it out. Rather than complain, you'd figure it out. You wouldn't cry about your Nielsen ratings if you were on cable television right now for free, because you'd just be like, I'm on cable television for free. I will figure it out. I will market myself. I will promote this, and whoever I reach is whoever I reach, and you would figure it out. If you were on the radio, you wouldn't let the radio decide how many people you're going to reach. You would shout from the rooftops that you're going to be on whatever the radio station is at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, and you would get everybody to tune in. The reason so many people are complaining about a lot of these platforms, and if this doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't apply to you. So don't be butthurt about it. If this doesn't apply to you, then just enjoy the entertainment value of the rant. If you are someone who is complaining that Instagram and changes to that algorithm, Facebook and changes to that algorithm, YouTube and changes to that algorithm, are suppressing or limiting your reach to people, you're relying on a platform to do all the work when 15 years ago, if you were doing anything of substance, if you were writing your own independent magazine, you would have had to hustle and you would have to take prints of that magazine and knock on people's doors and beg them to buy it. There wouldn't have been a platform to do it for you or to bring people in. You would have had to go door to door. If you were performing somewhere, you'd have to print up flyers out of pocket and go and hustle and put them on every car windshield in the mall. Remember that? Now you can just post on Facebook and you can create a Facebook event and people will stumble across it or find it. Or you can spend pennies on the dollar on Facebook ads and get it to specific people targeted by location and not have to stand out in the hot sun handing out flyers, having people shred them or tear them up in front of you or throw them into a garbage can. Okay? So don't complain to me or complain to the algorithm gods or whoever that you're not getting out there, you're not getting reach, or, oh, it's hurting you so bad, and, oh, these bloody algorithms and everything. Stop crying. Please stop crying and realize that, you know what would help you get reach? Get your 5 or 10 most loyal followers, and if they're in Reddit, get them to share your stuff in a subreddit because it's freaking awesome. Hustle. Build a street team. Build a digital street team. Almost none of you are doing this. Almost none of you have identified either 5 homies that are doing exactly the same thing as you that are down, that will help you. You have each other's back. If you guys have 10K subscribers in YouTube, promote each other in your community tabs and show each other some love there. If you guys have Reddit, share each other's stuff in Reddit. If you guys have Facebook, instead of always talking about yourself and promoting yourself, how about you pick 5, 10 people that you think are dope and promote them and ask them if they feel like they could do the same thing for you, a little quid pro quo, if you will, and build a street team, build a collaboration team, and grow together instead of praying to the algorithm that will never hear you to make it different, to change it. You want something to change? Do it yourself. Here's the best part. It's free. It's free. For real. It is 100% free to do this. Do you realize back in the day, in the early days of websites and hosting and all this stuff, how much money people had to pay to get themselves out there to do all of this stuff? And you have platforms that are hosting gigs upon gigs of photo, video, audio, live streams, whatever, for free, when we used to pay by the megabyte for this crap. And you're whining to me and to everybody else who will listen about like how hard it is. You don't even have to pay money. You don't even have to pay money. Do you realize how much it used to cost to get 500 flyers printed up, knowing that out of those 500 flyers that you printed up, you'd be lucky if 20 people you handed it to show up? Like, the conversion rates on that nonsense was ridiculous. But then you guys are crying yourself to sleep at night because a free platform with no effort on your part beyond creating something, which is still work. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But I'm saying you haven't done any extra work to promote this. When people used to play like club promoters and people like that to go out and to get dozens of people, hundreds of people to put something physical in their hand, knowing it's going into the trash can later, and you're going to complain about free computer system, social media platform distributing to dozens or hundreds of people for free without you standing up on a street corner out in the sun, rain, or snow to hustle for real? You're going to complain. You guys are going to complain about monetization stuff when we have things like Spreadshirt and Zazzle and Redbubble and Designed by Humans. Damon John, like Shark Tank king, millionaire investor, multi-million-dollar brand guru. Damon John, founder of FUBU. Some of you might be too young to remember FUBU. It was a really popular clothing brand in the 90s and the early 2000s. And he started what became a multi-million-dollar empire selling t-shirts out of the back of his trunk. Something no one ever has to do again, by the way, because, and he like did this at a loss for several years, and a lot of you are quitting after 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. He did his business at a loss, starting with selling stuff out of his trunk. I don't think a lot of you have it in you for the hustle for that. And now today, you don't have to do that to start a clothing brand. You go on the internet, you go to Spreadshirt or Zazzle or Redbubble or Designed by Humans. You don't even have upfront cost. All the shipping and procurement is done for you. They will do some marketing for you on top of that. And then you have social media platforms that you can put your stuff out on, and people might buy it, and you'll get a few bucks, and you'll cry about the fact that it's only $5 or $7 per t-shirt, but you're not considering that you didn't have to front $5,000 to buy enough of your design wholesale in every size that you need, and then have to pay overhead to sell it out of a strip mall because you want to do it in air conditioning because no one wants to buy from you from the back of your car trunk. You don't have the hustle in an era where that is the difference between you and how Damon John built FUBU. You don't have the stomach for that, and you're going to cry about not getting a few pennies on the dollar for content that you could be using to market and sell directly to people who think you have a dope t-shirt or a dope poster or whatever it is. And you're going to complain when it's free and you don't have to go through all of that. You don't have to sell stuff out of the back of a trunk that you had to front $3,000 to $5,000 for, which is going to get split between you and your 3 friends because that's the only way you can come up with the money. And you're going to complain. All right, cool. Cool. I see how it is. I see how it is. You know, you don't have nearly the money to buy airtime on cable television, but you can do a live stream with near broadcast quality from your smartphone. And you're going to complain about the era that you live in right now you're going to complain about how hard it is. When you can market yourself for free to hundreds of people, or even if it was dozens of people, less than 100 people, you're getting 100 views on Facebook, you're getting 100 likes on Instagram, you're getting 50 likes on Instagram. Tell me something. Are you going to go out to the middle of Times Square and breakdance for 30 people, or sing your heart out for 30 people, or do what Lindsey Sterling did and have, you know, your guitar, your violin case or a hat, and perform in the middle of the street in Vegas with your violin, dancing around something no one's ever seen while you play the violin? And you're going to do that. You're going to do that for 20 people, 30 people. But I see a lot of you have 100, 200 people and you're ready to quit because that's not good enough for you, because you're not, you know, Jake or Logan Paul. That's not good enough for you. 200 people aren't worth showing up for. 20 people aren't worth showing up for. Tell that to every street performer ever. Tell that to every street performer ever. 200 people aren't enough to show up to. Tell that to every public speaker who goes on a stage ever. Tell that to every real estate agent who gives a presentation in front of the right 40 people, the right 20 people at an open house. But you're going to complain about all of these free platforms. All of these free platforms in the form of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You want to complain about all of it. All of it. And it's right there for you to take advantage of in the greatest ever era for self-promotion, entrepreneurship, influencer marketing, which didn't even exist up until now except for in the form of celebrities. And you have the same capacity to compete, but you're going to complain about something that is free. Something that you could have never even bought into 10 or 15 years ago, and some of it didn't even exist. But you're going to give them grief about all of it, and you're not going to try, and you're going to give up because you don't feel it's getting you anywhere. But you're not going to hustle and get 10 people to have your back on Twitter or Reddit, and you're not going to build a digital street team. You're not going to try and monetize by selling merchandise or a product or a service. Here's one for you. You got a camera, you're not making it on Instagram just yet. Go out and start doing the product photography for a local business, or doing food photography for a local restaurant. Shoot as a second shooter for weddings on the weekend, and I guarantee you, you'll make more money the first 6 months with your camera doing that than trying to grow big on Instagram and get sponsors, or trying to do a YouTube channel and get sponsors or get enough ad revenue and qualify for the ad program. It's a free platform. You know how many people are beating down the doors for that? You know that's why they're backlogged by like 4 months. That's why, because everybody can do it. It's accessible. Not everyone can do it well, but for all the people who cried about 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time being the cutoff for YouTube, apparently it wasn't so challenging to do that people couldn't create a 4-month backlog to the point where YouTube can't even get to everybody to approve everybody. Enough people apparently were able to do that. No one's questioning and looking in the mirror and questioning their own hustle, and nobody is questioning how much effort they're making beyond the conventional means. Use unconventional means. Most of you have never, ever even considered the idea that instead of promoting yourself in Reddit, you promote for other people, and those 4 other people help you and put your stuff out there where appropriate and are genuine about it, and y'all are helping each other out. You've never considered that. A lot of you instead want to do sub for sub and think that you're supporting each other. Instead of doing sub for sub, how about every single one of you post a link to each other's video somewhere in social media just because you thought it was dope? How about that? That would be a way for small creators to support each other on YouTube. Facebook people, I'm not getting organic reach anymore. Okay, have you considered also then building a Facebook group or generating Facebook ads specifically for the purpose of growing your email list? It may not be the organic reach that you're used to, and it may not be as free as you're used to, but it's still cheap, if not free. Facebook groups are free and you have a committed community in that case, and it's more likely that your content will be promoted to people in that community instead of to your page or to your profile. There's that. You know that the Facebook algorithm favors video. Maybe you do more video or you do more Facebook live streams and you figure that out, create a format there. Maybe you're able to repurpose that content. Maybe you're not. There are other free platforms where that would fit. There are a lot of you're sleeping on Twitch right now because you're not a gamer. You don't realize that there's a creative community in Twitch where you could just be doing Photoshop for a couple hours that you were going to do anyway, and people will watch you work because they want to understand your workflow. There are a lot of you who you're not looking at the simple fact that you could be doing, you could go and you could actually put a podcast on Twitch. You know how many few people put a podcast on Twitch, but it would blow up because there's the H3 podcast on Twitch, and there's a few other people getting ready to start doing podcasts on Twitch, and you could be early to that because podcasts are huge right now. There's so many of you don't know what to do with your social media. You could be starting a podcast, and then you could be distributing that in social media, and it would be successful, especially right now. It would be successful, but it's not something you're used to seeing. It's not the conventional method of an Instagrammer or a YouTuber or a Facebook person or, God forbid, a Snapchat person. Are there still Snapchat people? I don't know. Like, that's how dead Snapchat is to me. So again, this is not meant to make you feel bad. I only know how to get this point across at this level in the form of a rant because I'm very passionate about this, because I want you to succeed and I want you to not miss this opportunity because it's free. And I'm 33. I will be 34 in June at VidCon. Come say hi at VidCon 2018. I'll be speaking. And I want you to realize that if you have a camera or you have a smartphone, you can be successful right now. And I don't know how long that window of opportunity will last. So I'm imploring you to take what's left of the 365 days of 2018 or 2019 or whenever you're watching this, and to get on it and to be deadly serious about it and to really push, because I don't know how long the window of opportunity of you can pick up a phone or a camera and make something of yourself and market at this level for free and be successful and sell something or get in with a brand and become a brand ambassador. I don't know how long that window is accessible and open, because I'll keep telling you, for all of you who say it's saturated, it's too crowded, you're not being creative enough. You are not being creative enough. Almost nobody watching this has thought about doing a podcast on Twitch and simul streaming a YouTube live podcast live to tape in Twitch, and then also then repurposing the audio and distributing that through iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Store, all of that, and building their brand that way and having unique value. Because for all the people doing whatever you're doing, I almost guarantee you there's not 1,000 or 2,000 podcasts for it for you to call it saturated just yet. And even if there were, if you add one thing different to it, like the live video component or doing it daily when everyone else is weekly, you can win and get into the top 100. You can win. You're not being creative enough. You're not remixing. You're not combining things. It's really straightforward. I'm not going to pretend it's easy. I'm not even going to say it's simple, but it is straightforward. It's straightforward. And you could do it. You could do it. And here's the thing. The skills to pull it off, the barrier to entry, that's free content on the internet or cheap content on the internet. The opportunities exist. So, you know, that's my thing. That's my biggest thing here, is that there's virtually limitless opportunity right now, and people are doing nothing about it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that you're scared. I don't know if you just don't believe that the opportunity is there, or that it's the saturation thing is getting to you. But whatever your reasoning is, which is most likely an excuse or a fear that you have, you need to move beyond it before the window closes on you, and then you're wishing and regretting that because you let it pass you by. And I'm very serious about that. So anyway, guys, that's my live rant. I'm gonna run. I've got some more stuff to do today, and I've got a lot of content to drop on you this week. But I also wanted to kind of do this new live webcam thing, and it's pretty dope that you can use an actual legit camera as a webcam. You couldn't do that very easily just a little while ago. And so it's easier to have higher quality content than ever. And so I might be doing more with that in the near future. I might be stepping things up. It does make it a little bit harder to interact with you guys in the comments, because as you can see how I have to look down at that for where the laptop is. So I don't have a real practical solution for that just yet. But I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in. Especially my hardcore community live right now on me doing an impromptu rant without even putting it out there on Twitter or whatever. 20 of you guys that are hardcore just like came in from notifications, and we had 200 and something of you guys at the peak. And so I really appreciate that. In the replay, I'm going to try and look back at some of these comments and see what you guys have to say. But on the replay of this, if you had something and you had a dope comment or you had a question, more than anything, I want you to drop that in the comment section. But I also want to know what you're going to do about this. What are you going to do with the rest of the year? How are you going to market yourself? How are you going to build your brand? What are you going to do about it? Because this stuff is free. There ain't no sense in complaining. It's free. And when I say complaining, you know exactly what I mean. If you want to say, well, there are glitches or there are bugs, that's a legitimate complaint. I'm good with that. But when it comes to, oh, the algorithm, that, I'm not making money, that's on you, my friend. That's on you. Your success is on you. Put it on your back, carry it to the finish line. That's all that is required. I'm not even joking. This is something I've had to live through, is that I couldn't wait for the circumstances to change or for things to be right. I had to make a change on my own, by myself, in myself, do something different, and that made things different for me. And that's all anybody can really do. At the end of the day, rely on yourself, rely on your good friends, your community if they have your back. Do not rely on the platforms to do all the work, and do not rely on this window of opportunity to be around forever. Take advantage of it right now. Right now. I'm not even kidding. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with yet another rant. I'm sure I will get frustrated enough with something to rant about again in the very near future, but this one had to go. This one just had to get out there because I'm thinking about it way too much, and I didn't want to bother to edit anything with this because I just wanted you guys to have this message, because it is serious, it is very real, and I see the complaining, I see the whining, but I also see the winners. I see the winners every day, and I'm realizing that the difference between the people winning and the people complaining is they're thinking it through, they're being creative, they're not afraid to try new things, and they are accepting that they can do things outside of their comfort zone. And that's how they're going to crush it. And that's how they're going to crush it. Comfort and success don't really coexist, my friends. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. You have to leave the comfort in to live in, like, the success condo is the best analogy that I could make. You have to leave the comfort in to live in the success condo. That's a real thing. Anyway, that's it, you guys. Like this video if you like it. Do not forget to subscribe if you're new here. It won't always be a rant. As always, you guys, thanks so very much for watching. And don't forget, let's go out there and create something awesome today, because you got every day to do it. Take care.